Hi, and welcome to my channel. Today I am tackling a project that has been long overdue, the kitchen pantry. As you can see behind me, it is in dire need of some organization. In this video, I will talk about why I am not decanting everything. And so you wouldn't, this is not an organization video where you're going to see everything in perfect, clear containers and everything is going to be this aesthetically pleasing pantry. This basket, in fact, is actually my attempt at having a beautiful, aesthetically pleasing pantry. I bought a bunch of these at Home Goods and I started putting things in, but then I found that things that didn't fit in the categories were left out of those bins. And so then I had bins and bags and boxes. And so I just figured, all right, let's get rid of all of it, right? And just put everything in its own category in a shelf. So I did keep, obviously, the bins. I'm not going to throw them out like that. That would be crazy. So I do keep the baskets, and sometimes I do use them for certain things. Like on this one, I'm putting the rice because the rice is just like these two giant bags of 20 pounds of rice. And so I'm going to put it in there just to kind of get it off the floor. And so it's easy to pull out whenever I need it. And the rice doesn't get messy all over the place. I have 2 bags of rice because this one was running out, so I needed to make sure I had another one before it did. And so that's going to be my rice bin. I'll put my rice, my beans, anything that has to do with those kind of grains. I'll put them all together in that basket. But for the most part, you're not going to see a beautifully, aesthetically pleasing pantry. What you will see is me cleaning up that disastrous mess that you saw in the beginning to a much more functional and more organized and just practical pantry. Because in this mobile home, we have a pretty good size pantry / laundry room / cleaning room / storage room / electrical room / everything. And it's a good size. I can really work with this. I have all my supplies. I have, my vacuum, my broom, my mop. All my cleaning supplies are there. My extra stash of toilet paper and paper towels are in there. And if it's organized, it all makes sense. Right now, none of it makes sense because it was a disaster. My husband puts his clothes in there after work. He's a mechanic, and he brings his clothes into the laundry room so that it doesn't stink up the room. So he doesn't have his hamper just a mess. His clothes would stink. He's a mechanic, so it would just have oily, greasy. I just don't want to mix that with my clothes. Neither does he. He knows better than that. I would not be happy. So he brings it into the laundry room, which was that green basket that you saw in the beginning. And so I have to organize this room where it's functional for daily use. We go in here every single day. That little helper you see is my daughter. She's my 9-year-old, and she loves organization and order and cleanliness. Her room is almost always spotless. I don't know how she does it. She doesn't get it from me. I am not that organized. I mean, I love order, but I can let mess go for a little bit before I go get up and clean it up. I do love order, though. And so she has learned how to organize and how to do things where it feels good. And so she is my biggest helper. She's the one that you saw cleaning the bathroom in the first video that I posted. And she helps me anytime that I'm doing these major cleanups. She actually loves to see things going from dirty to clean. So she's always there. And she also helps me because she's my strong kid. And because I have lupus, for those of you who don't know, I have lupus, and sometimes my joints hurt really, really bad. And I have a hard time picking things up from the floor, off the floor. I don't know how you say that. Off the floor. Yeah. You're picking things up off the floor. And she's the one that helps me to carry things whenever I need it. She's just a really good helper. Love having her around. She's my little baby with my bird on top of her head. So she's just great at it. Anyway, so back to our cleaning. That there is my laundry room. This is what my pantry looks like right now. Very big mess, very unorganized. Originally, we just recently cleaned up this pantry and this room. It was even worse mess than what you saw in the beginning about a year or so ago. and we organized it so that it could be more functional. And this is actually much more functional than it was. But over time, people start to put things in just in whatever bins they feel like it. So we have like bins for cans and bins for snacks and bins for whatever, right? Like the little holes in the little cubby. But people just start putting things everywhere. And when that happens, it becomes a huge mess. And then everything gets hard to find. And then food expires. So we're going to fix that today. We're changing that up. We're moving things around. And we're cleaning up those little cubbies, making sure there's no dust, no food, no debris and crumbs. We're going to clean that up with a little bit of vinegar. I use a vinegar spray solution. I put vinegar and water and a little bit of dish soap. And that's what I use for cleaning. I absolutely love it. If you have never cleaned with vinegar, that's my go-to for everything. That spray is incredible. I had no idea the power of vinegar until I started using it not recently. I started using it. It cleans off grease off the stove. It takes off all the gunk off your counters, and it doesn't leave streaks. Like, that's what I thought. That was my fear, that the vinegar would leave streaks, but it doesn't. So I'm cleaning this up, and this is going to be my pasta pantry, my pasta cubby, I mean. And it has like the mac and cheese. Oh, the bird pooped on her. That's what happened. So she has to go clean it. We like having him around, but he's a little pooper. So this is going to be my pasta pantry, pasta cubby. And I have my mac and cheese that my little one really likes. She's allergic to cheese, and she gets eczema flares with the cheese, and she continues to eat them. And I try really hard to get her away from it, but she just begs for this stuff. And I don't usually get it. It was just on sale, and I was like, whatever. I'm going to give in today. This will be all things pasta, which I didn't know I had so much pasta stuff because they were in all different cubbies. And in the end, I ended up filling that one, like a lot. That one was filled with stuff. I just had so much pasta stuff. I usually get the pasta stuff. I can't eat it because I am gluten-free, dairy-free. So I cannot have anything with pasta. And I can't have, like, tomatoes gives me a little bit of heartburn. So I can't have anything that I cook there with it. But I make it for my family on those days where I really don't feel well. And I just know that it's going to be a quick, easy meal. So that's why those are just, like, stored there. Do you like when, like, things go from, like, dirty, messy and stuff and to clean? Or are you more the type of person that is just like, oh, I'd rather get somebody else to do it. I'm not going to do it, and you just leave it and let it go. I am the type of person that I like to see order. And so there's these days in the month where I'm like so much energy, and I definitely take advantage of that energy because it doesn't come often and I don't have it all the time. But there are days in the month where I am like, yes, let's go. And I can go all the way until like 2:00 in the morning. I'm not tired. I know that's not common and that's not normal, but that's how much I love to organize and to clean and have things in order. It's just keeping up with it is a problem because every time you turn around when you have kids, there's another mess to clean up. So keeping up with it is like, no, forget it. I'm not going to do this all day. And you have to pick your battles, especially when you have kids. You definitely have to pick your battles. But for the most part, I like to see it. You know, like I like to actually do it. My daughter's bringing in this box of ramen that I bought. Like, I bought it at Costco. And I don't buy it for the little packets. I buy it for the actual noodles because we make ramen a lot. But like my own homemade ramen, like with chicken stock and vegetables and all that stuff. Like all the seasoning, sesame oil and all that. So we just use the noodles from the packets and it comes out so amazing. One day, let me know if you guys are interested because I will make it on camera and record it so I can post it. But not if no one cares. I'm not really a cooking channel, so that's not something that I would normally do. But I will if you guys put it in the comments. I make some really good ramen. I don't know if it's authentic, but I do make a really good one. I make it with chicken stock and ginger and garlic and sesame oil, not soy sauce. I use liquid aminos because I can't have gluten. And so, yeah, I don't know if I'm making it correctly, but it tastes good. Anyway, so yeah, I just try to get rid of all the like excess bags and boxes and stuff, because it really is so unnecessary. That's one thing that I don't like, like all the boxes. I don't care that it's not in perfect, like clear container, and like that just drove me crazy. Like I buy a lot of things in Costco, and sometimes I had to empty out, right, my big bulk container of, let's say, oatmeal or of oats and stuff, and I would put some of the oats or some of the rice in a container, but I still had the excess and it was just sitting there. So it was just pointless for me to do that, and I decided not to do that anymore. This is my bird. He really loves to cuddle. He's such a little cuddly thing. But when guests come over, he's really mean. He does not let anyone touch him. He bites people. So if anyone has any advice on how to make a bird stop biting people, I will gladly take it. He is the sweetest thing. He never poops on me. He's trained. He goes to the toilet. If you hold him too long, though, he will not hold it on him. He won't hold it. He'll just let it go on you. But for the most part, anytime that you put him like on a napkin or on the toilet, he will go to the bathroom. And it helps out a lot because I don't want to see poop all over the floor. And in the beginning, when he first got here as a baby, we had poop all over the couch. So we had to clean that all the time, and I hated it. And I didn't know if he was going to stay or not because of that. But he stayed, and he's cuddly, and he's cute. I'm trying to find spaces to move things around because the last time we organized the pantry, we took everything out. I mean, everything. The shelves, the floor, like everything off the floor. Even the washing machine and dryer got moved, and we cleaned everything underneath. It was like a lot. Like we hadn't cleaned it in over a year underneath. So it was a very big mess, and we took everything out, and we didn't want to do that today. I just wanted, everything was pretty organized and stayed in their spot from the last time that we organized this. So it was just about, kind of like organizing each cubby, and that's it. So this one was an easy clean. It wasn't too bad. It was only, I don't know, maybe 30, 45 minutes before we did the entire thing. I think you're watching this in real time. It's not very sped up. So that's, I don't know, it was just easy. There's so many boxes of cereal. When I was growing up, my family, we had a lot of cereal. We ate a lot of cereal because my mom worked, and while my dad was living in New York and my mom was living in Miami, like it was just easy. My mom had to get easy food so that we could make it ourselves because she was working and I was taking care of my sisters, and she didn't want us cooking. So we had a lot of cereal, a lot of sandwiches and stuff like that. But my daughters have never gotten into cereal. I thought that was just like a given. Like kids enjoy cereal. They don't like cereal at all. Like sweet stuff, they love sweets, but they don't like sweet cereals. They taste the chemical taste that I never did growing up. Like I never tasted that. I don't know if the cereal maybe has changed a lot. But the flavor is very, I don't know. It tastes like super, like a lot of chemicals. Anyway, they don't like it. They only like cereals like Chex, like just plain bland Chex. And that's the one that she asked me for. And I'm like, I'm not going to buy that because even when I buy that box, they don't eat it anyway. So I have to throw it away anyway. And if it's Chex, then no one's going to eat it, not even me. As you can see, we're bringing in more ramen because this literally was a Costco batch. I think it was 48 little bricks of ramen. And I don't, like I said, I don't use those little packets inside, those little flavor packets. We make our own. But it's very helpful to have the noodles, and I don't know how expensive they are to buy them separately, but I think they're much more expensive if you buy them like in the authentic like store, Asian store. So we buy it this way, take out the packets, and then have the ramen packets. And I think they're like 10 cents, 15 cents. I don't even know how much they are in Costco, but they're super cheap per brick. I'm looking to see where I'm putting this quinoa. I think there's a grain basket that I have that I'm trying to figure out like if it fits. This is gonna be my can cubby. So I'm gonna be putting my corn in here, my beans, and anything that is can related. I'll put it in that one. That chocolate syrup, I don't know why I tried to put it in my pasta shelf because I had already fixed my pasta shelf, so I didn't want anything being a mess. Those are some noodles that I have because they're gluten-free, and I have some gluten-free rice noodles for myself. And I have them there in my pasta shelf too. I have a gluten intolerance. Not anything like celiac disease where like I have severe pain in my stomach. I have severe pain like in the rest of my body. Not in my stomach, in the rest of my body. So my joints on my wrists, my elbows, my knees, my ankles, like all my joints, my shoulders. When I have gluten, my body aches. And so I found out that there's like a bacteria in your body when that happens. Well, when it happened to me, I don't know if it's every single time for every single person. But what's happening in my body is that there's a bacteria in my body that ferments the food a specific way, and it affects my joints. And so the fermentation and whatever it is that the way the bacteria is eating the food is causing my joints to hurt. I have been struggling with this for a really long time, and the doctor recently prescribed me some antibiotic. This is a natural doctor, by the way. He doesn't usually prescribe antibiotics, but in this case, there was no natural remedy for the type of bacteria that is causing this pain. So I am really, really hoping for a complete change where I can eat foods without it affecting me that way. I may always have to be off of gluten, but I may be able to, I may not be so sensitive. I don't know. We'll see what happens in the future. I don't know yet. I'm still dealing with the pain and the issues. So we're working right now with the antibiotics and seeing if that helps. That's my goal. I like to watch her try to, figure out what it is that I'm thinking. I want her to be herself and be happy as a kid, but she knows me well enough that I'm like, she kind of knows what I'm thinking, and she knows where to put things where I think I'm gonna want it. She doesn't usually ask me like, Mom, what do you think about this? And what do you think about that? Like she's very smart. She's a really smart kid. I really do love working with her because it gives us a little bonding time. And she's just, she's just really helpful. She's just, cool to be around. Anybody that's around her sees her joy and her happiness. And she's, she has like this infectious love. And it's, she's an amazing person. She's an amazing little girl. I think we're coming towards the end where I'm kind of just trying to make sure that everything is organized. There's still just so many foods in different categories that don't fit in every cubby. Like, it just doesn't all fit. So I'm trying my best. I'm trying to be as organized as possible. I've never hired a professional organizer or anything, but I would assume that they would do a much better job in here, obviously, because they're professionals and they know what they're doing. But as a mom and amateur, I think we're doing a pretty good job just trying to figure it out, just trying to put things where they go and making sure that there's enough space and that everything is clean, because that's ultimately what matters. I want to be able to get into my laundry room, do the laundry without clutter all over the floor, without a mess everywhere, without food sticking out of places where they're not supposed to. like these boxes and things and food was falling into the hamper, like that my husband's hamper for his mechanic clothes, and food would just fall in there and the kids would just leave it. And it would drive me bananas when I would see it. I would go into the pantry and I'd notice that boxes had fallen in and no one was picking it up. Bird food was on the floor, such a mess. And I really needed to wait until my high energy days to be able to tackle this, because it was a big project. Not a huge project, but big enough that I wouldn't want to do it on my day that I'm tired. You know? You know? Another reason why I was cleaning this pantry was because my dad was coming from out of the country. He lives in Dominican Republic. And when I was growing up, you were not allowed to sit down if there was a mess in the house. Like, you had to always be doing something, or the house better be clean. Because if you were watching TV, then there was no excuse. You better have, the dishes washed, the trash thrown out, the floor swept, or whatever. So it was really hard for us growing up. And I took that into my adulthood, where I don't sit down until my kitchen is done. Like, if after dinner, we want to come and rest, I rather do the kitchen first, get it over with, and then sit down. I mean, it's a good habit to have, but I do this mostly out of I think it's a trauma response of oh my gosh, my dad is coming. And so since he was coming from out of the country, I was like, oh my God, let's get this done right now. I don't want to hear it. Even though I don't think my dad would judge me right now at 41 years old. I don't think, but I kind of think he will still. He's not, he's a really good person. He's not mean at all. And I love having him here. The girls enjoy him. My kids enjoy him so much when he's here. There's lots of cuddles, lots of kisses, lots of hugs, and just a lot of fun times. But I do want to make sure that everything is clean, because I don't know, maybe it comes from childhood, or maybe it's just a good habit where you have to clean before guests come, right? It could just be that. We're coming to the end here. This is my gluten-free cubby that I'm putting everything in. These are all my gluten-free stuff. I don't know if anyone who is gluten-free has ever tried to make s'mores. I tried buying graham crackers that are gluten-free, and they were disgusting. They were just way too sweet. I don't know what these gluten-free people are thinking, but they put way too much sugar in everything. But the box that I just put in the cubby a little bit ago, that blue and orange box that's over there in the end by the broom, they are some breakfast biscuits. They're just like those breakfast biscuits. I forgot the brand, but they're just like them, but they are way better than the graham crackers for s'mores. We made s'mores recently for over a fire, and they were delicious. It was just perfect. I looked crazy eating s'mores with my kids because I was so excited. I hadn't been able to eat them in a long time. Oh, we're almost finished. I'm so excited. I'm almost done with this project. And soon you will see what the pantry looks like. All together, all put together. I had a lot of trash already. There was so much trash to take out. And I wanted to just make everything look really nice. The pantry, when it's organized and when everything is clear, it is so nice. I leave the curtain open because it just looks good. So I don't have to worry about, people looking in and it looking like a hot mess. I leave the curtain open. We put a curtain there because it was open and we had it as a storage. So it was just messy all the time. But I like having the curtain open. It's easy access. We use the broom constantly. We're always sweeping the house, especially with a bird. He has like this little paper litter that he likes to pick at and he drops it all the time. So I'm always sweeping that. Of course, time for a little laundry because that never ends. And I needed to take out some of the clothes that was in the dryer. And oh, I did not notice he did that. He just pulled that string. I really didn't notice that he pulled that string off of the drying rack. So this is my husband's shirt. I wore it this week and I put it in the washing machine and by accident I dried it and then it shrank. Now it is my shirt. It's no longer his shirt. That shirt is supposed to be a really long shirt and I'm freaking out because it shrank a lot. Like not just a little, it really shrank a lot. It's a large, but it is not supposed to be that size. Whoops. Yeah, I thought about it because it's not his favorite shirt and he doesn't wear it often. I kind of found it when I was cleaning my other closet. So it's not like he wears it all the time. So no big deal. I guess it's just going to have to be mine and it is what it is. I have a lot of these cups and paper plates and styrofoam containers and all this stuff up there. I don't have it all organized, and it becomes a huge mess up there. That one, I didn't really have a place for most of those things, so they're going to have to kind of stay there. But I wanted to make it better. It does look better at the end. I have these bags that I use for recycling, the ones from Trader Joe's and from Whole Foods. They're just easy to put like all the recycling stuff in it. But then I forget to take it out when I'm putting recycling stuff, and then the recycling stuff ends up on the floor next to the trash can anyway. And I'm still not making the decision to throw those bags out or to get rid of them, because I swear I'm going to use them. This is usually like the little storage room where we put stuff that we don't know where to put it in the rest of the house. Even though we have a 4-bedroom house and it's pretty big and there's space for everything, we don't really know like where to put everything. So some things just end up there. And here we go, pantry reveal in 3, 2, 1. So I didn't do much on this side of the room, but the laundry area is clean, the pantry is clean, everything's organized. Nothing looks out of place, the mop maybe, but that's where the mop goes. So thanks for watching. See you next time.